like an explanation. The Union County Watchdog Association closely monitors your employee position control changes. There's a wealth of information there. And a recent one, and this is a batch, your controls from September 9th to October 18th. You are giving your Director of Public Works and Facility Management a new title. It's a title you're creating, and it's a public civil service title. So, interesting. I thought you had to take a leave of absence before you could slash a title and give a department head a civil service title. This employee was the overseer of your employee Niel Palmieri, who had pleaded guilty in federal court on October 2nd. He worked up until just a few days before he did that. And there's some interesting information on this sheet itself. I mean, it looks like, I can't read the signature, but it matches the county manager's signature. So I'm going to say Al Fayella signed off on this as a department head on April 15th. Administrative Services, Matt Gerardo signed off on it the same day. Then it went to Personnel, who signed off on it. I don't know who signed it. On, looks like September 15th. And then the Finance Department signed off on it on October 15th. So you have, actually the Finance Department and Administrative Services are involved with the purchasing, how you process your purchasing. So they were all sort of overseers of what happened with this employee who pled guilty to fraud. He was stealing from the county. So the timeline is interesting. I'd like an explanation about that. And I'd really like an explanation from the county manager because there's no effective date. It's left blank. And when he signs off on it, the county manager, who is the final say on these matters, he signed off of it and he didn't sign a date on it. So this turned up in our position control OPA request for the between 9/9 and 10/18. So it happened within that time frame. But I'd like an explanation as to why you're further protecting this employee. As a department head, he served at the pleasure of the county manager. Now with the civil service title, it protects him. So not only did you not hold any authority over this employee who pled guilty to stealing from the county, what he was doing was processing false purchase orders and then getting kickbacks from the vendor. And then that, that happens. And this all began in on March 25th. Niel Palmieri entered an information plea with the FBI. I'm not sure if you knew about it, but it wasn't public knowledge. This came out after he pled guilty. So this, the dates are really alarming here. So that happened on the 25th. Palmieri resigned on September 27th. He pled guilty on October 2nd. And then you had another vendor, Positive Attitude, plead guilty to a similar charge involving Palmieri again on November 20th. So you didn't hold any of Niel Palmieri's superiors accountable, and not only did you do that, but you are you're taking measures to further protect his immediate superior, and the public deserves an explanation as to why you're doing that. And we also deserve an explanation, and Mr. Fayella is here tonight. He can tell us right now why there are no dates on this document, no effective date, no sign-off date. And if we didn't ask for this information, it would never be brought to public knowledge. I mean, this is the extremes we have to go through to see what's going on here. I'd like an explanation for both those things.
Good evening, Chairman Pro Tem Hudak, ladies and gentlemen, Freeholder Board, Bruce Patterson Garwood. I would hope that we're actually going, as the public, we're going to get an answer to Tina Rena's questions, because she brings up interesting things. I'll tell you, it's like, every time I listen to her, I keep thinking this place is like a criminal organization. It's like you're protecting your own, And that, just a segue, Nelson Mandela, he passed away. And he was an icon for fighting injustice, and basically, a lot of these public that show up here are doing a similar life. They're fighting the injustice of what this system has become. And if you listen to Tina Renner, she points it out pointedly that you're just protecting and self-serving and you're switching things around. We got County Manager Fiello, doing a reorganization. It'll be interesting to find out how he reorganizes. Is he going to cut 10% of the workforce? I don't know. That'll be a question in the future.